Hey, what's going on? So, I am streaming live now from China. I don't know how many times I keep trying to do this stream and I keep getting shut down for some reason. So, I am streaming live from China in the midst of, the whole pandemic that's going on with the coronavirus. And I pretty much done my own digging around and gathered information from various amount of sources, and I would say they're pretty credible, considering the fact that the sources of media that we get here in China as foreigners are heavily filtered and censored. So, like I said, I've pretty much done my own digging around, and there's things we can speculate on, and so on and etc. But I'm open to conversation for any of you who have any questions, so feel free to ask. I've done a live stream like this, I believe maybe like a week ago, and there were a few people that were quite curious about what's going on here or what's been going on, and the progress of trying to contain this whole thing. And sadly to say, there's really no information about it right now. Of course, the Chinese media is spreading a lot of propaganda and showing, only the good things that are going on here. But there's people who are constantly being infected here daily. And we have this, like I said, I'm in China, and we have this application, WeChat, for those of you who might know anything about it. So, and WeChat has this mini program. In a mini program, it will show you the people who has the virus that are living around your vicinity. Okay, so if I click this mini program here, right, it will show you the map. Now the red emblems or whatever, or the red signs with the exclamation mark, they 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 are the people around your area that are currently infected with the coronavirus. And as you can see on this application right here, I know this is not clear, because the screen is like very reflective, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, even more if you zoom out. If you zoom out, there's even more. Look at that. It's crazy. So these are the people that actually went to the hospital, and they, you know, of course, they had to fill out some kind of paperwork or whatever, and now they're publicly identified. They're now these reports are made to the public, of the people that are infected around you. And I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time articulating myself because I don't normally do this. But yeah, so within 522 meters of where I live, and where I live is actually one of the biggest residential areas in China. So within 522 meters, there's all these people that are currently infected that are living around me, within 522 meters of around me. And today, I actually got a message from my coworker. And like I said, for those of you guys who are joining now, I am currently in China. So I got a message from my coworker who says, don't go to the hospital because there are doctors there now that are quarantined who were infected with the virus. It says 9 in the hospital, 5 are near Wonderland. This is where I live. And it said, hold on, let me read this. Where did she send it? Oh yeah. Also, I was trying to leave China, and go to Vietnam, but Vietnam is now not accepting anybody who's been in China or even Chinese citizens, and I can't go to Hong Kong because if you try to go to Hong Kong, they will stick you in quarantine for 14 days. So pretty much we're just all stuck. Hey, what's going on, Marvin? Yeah, I'm doing all right. Just pretty much like stuck here. We can't really do anything. And the number of people who are being infected every day just keeps going up and going up. And for you guys who are joining now, like I said, we have this map on WeChat. It's pretty much all in Chinese, but it shows you all the people around your area that are infected with the coronavirus. And around me, there's a lot of people, like 522 people. I'm from Korea now watching YouTube. That's amazing, man. I've actually lived in Korea for about 8 years. So, 안녕하세요. Um, yeah, I lived around Seoul-dae Ipgu, it's kind of close to Gangnam, I guess. So yeah, I've lived in Korea for quite a while. I love it. Miss it there. Miss my friends. 한국 음식 먹고 싶어. 보고 싶어. 한국 음식 보고 싶어. But yeah. How come you are coming out? What you mean, coming out? I mean, how many people are really dead? Guardian angels, hey, what's going on? See, this is the problem. Nobody knows because the CCP or the Chinese government they're censoring and filtering the information that is being released to the general public, so people can only speculate. But then again, they're currently building like these quarantine hospitals in Wuhan that can accommodate like tens of thousands of people. So, I mean, you can do the math. So it's definitely more than what we're being told. And like I said, I have this application that shows you all these red dots. I'm over here, I'm the blue one. So it shows you all these dots of people who have the virus that are living around you. So I just checked this maybe like 3 days ago, and there was like only 2 people. And now, check this out. Literally everywhere. It's crazy. So, I have a lot of Chinese friends here. And I like this country, man. It's not the country. Oh, that's nice, man. I know Hongdae. Huh. And I like this country, but I don't like some of the policies here. And it's kind of hard to speak about it because it's not my country, but I have been here for about 6 years. So, not to generalize, but I kind of know the way of Chinese people, and them being very nationalistic and full of pride. Is very rare for them to speak out against their own government, because losing face is one of the most important things here. And especially for the Chinese government to lose face. So when this whole outbreak happened, they just automatically blame the mayor of Wuhan because they don't want to claim the responsibility. Okay, and in recent, oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And in recent news, this doctor passed away here, Dr. Lee, and he was one of the first people who spoke out, trying to inform people about the virus outbreak around like December 30th. Like I believe it was him and like 8 or 7 other people. So the police came knocking in his house, and They warned him and made him sign a piece of paper not to spread rumors, which, as we know now, are not rumors. And of course, he signed a piece of paper. Um, and then, like I said, a few days ago, I believe he died from the virus. So it's kind of crazy that this man who blew the whistle and trying to warn the people contracts the virus and then passes away from the virus, from the very own thing that he was trying to protect the people. So a lot of Chinese people here are in uproar, and of course you don't see that because everything is filtered. And the Chinese government, they won't let you see that. But yeah, a lot of Lord Jesus, please protect. Yo, really, I appreciate that. That's really nice of you. Um, and we just, I don't know, the people are just trying to figure out what to do because the government is not doing anything. Um, and yes, I've been living here for like 6 years. Um, and today I got some news from my management, because due to this outbreak, the economy here in China is pretty much collapsing. So they're cutting everybody's pay, or they say, I don't know. This is hypotheticals, but this is what I got from my boss. But you know, they could be lying too. As much as I hate to say this because they've been nice to me, but like it's just I know how things work here. So they cut in everybody's pay. Usually, I get paid here in China close to 18 to 20,000, and I won't normally discuss my salary publicly to people, but I get paid 18 to 20,000 RMB, which is a little bit over 2,500 US dollars, and for a single person living here in China, that's more than enough. So think about this: a guy goes from making 18,000 to 20,000 RMB, but now they're only wanting to pay us 2,500 RMB for the next 2 months because they said they can't afford to pay us because everybody here supposedly is focusing on containing this virus and building these incubation shelters. I don't know. It's like everything is pretty much is kind of messy, and I want to leave and go to maybe Vietnam. It's pretty close, and the tickets are fairly inexpensive. And I do know some people here, but now we're being told that there's countries that are not accepting, definitely not accepting Chinese people at all, but they're not accepting any foreigners that have been in China. And we can try to go to Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is also freaking out over this whole virus thing. And if you try to go into Hong Kong from China, which I'm pretty close to Hong Kong, um, they will automatically keep you in incubation, or sorry, not incubation, in quarantine. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry. They will keep you in quarantine for a maximum of 14 days. So like I might as well just like stay home. But that also creates a problem because in China, like for instance, I have a 10-year business visa, so I can stay in China for 10 years. But I have to cross the border every like 60 days. So it's almost my time to go, but we can't even go now because everything is pretty much closed down. So yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions, like I know sometimes I can't get a hold of myself and I start to talk and talk. So if you guys have any questions, like I said, feel free to ask. I'm here, and I am using VPN to talk about the current situation. And of course, everything is heavily filtered, so I don't know. people can easily come knocking on my door. Like I said, I do live in one of the biggest residential areas in Guangzhou. So I'll tell you where I am. I am in Guangzhou. But like I said, everything is closed down. People are advised not to go outside. We can't travel anywhere. And for my friends that did manage to get out, I'm happy for them. But for those of us who are stuck here, are kind of stuck here. Um, so yeah, it's just trying to figure out what to do. Like I said, there's people just being infected with this thing left and right because it is airborne. And I showed you guys, the map on my phone, and these red dots that represent the people who are currently infected with the virus are just multiplying more and more every day. So yeah, that's pretty much my spill. And like I said, I can go down the rabbit hole of the conspiracy factor, which is actually quite plausible now if you really gather information and put them together, intertwine them together. How did it start? Okay, well, here's the thing. From the news sources, it started from the trade of illegal wildlife that supposedly was infected, or from bats or whatever, or snakes or whatever, that were infected with this virus, and it spread from animal to animal, from human to human. And in China, they have like these wet markets. A wet market is pretty much, it's like a market like you would see in the Stone Age. You go there and they will slaughter or chicken or butcher a pig right in front of you, and the blood and everything is not sanitized, it's just washed down the drain. So they're saying it spread like this, but from various of news articles, patient zero or patient one, the first person who contracted the virus, uh, had nothing to do with the wet market or the market. He didn't go nowhere near around it. He didn't visit it. He didn't live around it. And this is, like I said, this is from multiple sources that I got this information. So if he contracted it outside of the market, then where the hell did he get it from? And see, this is what's problematic. In Wuhan, or the province of Hubei, where Wuhan is, in Wuhan, you can look this up, and I shit you not, you can look this up. In Wuhan, they have a level 4 biohazard lab. And what a level 4 biohazard lab is, a laboratory that is specialized in, I don't know, researching or dealing with some of the world's most deadliest pathogens. Okay. And one of them is happened to be the coronavirus, the very same thing that we are dealing with now. So a lot of people speculate that it might have leaked out intentionally or unintentionally. And if it was intentionally, and this is the word I'm going to use a lot, is speculate, is that if it was leaked, they never thought that it would get to the point of where it is now, because I heard it came from that lab. Yeah, like I said, there's, everything, people turn everything into a conspiracy now, and people label it as a conspiracy because there's just not enough factual evidence to make it factual. Okay. But everything to do within this conspiracy is pretty much is plausible. Okay, because a lot of things that a lot of things that make this a conspiracy, or coming from the lab, is like I said, it's factual and it can back it up. Okay, so let me show you something important. Important update: 2019 novel coronavirus can be transmitted in three ways. Okay. Of course, we already know that. Let me find you this article. Oh, this is what I wanted to discuss. Okay. So, for those of you guys, or maybe the government is trying to wipe people out because China is overpopulated. I mean, this this is also one of those things that, I had talked amongst my friends. Are there testimonies of people who have completely recovered from the coronavirus? There's no testimonies whatsoever, but we get these publications that says there are people who have been treated and recovered, but there's no testimonials at all, or I haven't heard of any at all. Actually, let me pull up the latest. Uh, 5 people infected with coronavirus. Source traced back to a gym they all visited. Wow. Um, Give me a second here, please. Where is this article that I just seen? Actually, like, we got these masks, but the masks is fucking worthless, and people are, going crazy over this whole mask debacle. And the mask, they have holes. Even a surgical mask, they have holes. You have pores on your face. The virus is can be spread because it's airborne. It can just seep through your pores. People contracted the virus also through the mucus in your eyes, so it can very easily spread. But where is this article? I cannot find it. Oh, okay, there it is. It is now the 9th, so I'm sorry, this was yesterday. Okay. These are the numbers. Okay. This is what we get on WeChat. Okay. So it says infected. There's almost 35,000 people who are infected. The suspected amount of people who are infected is almost 30,000. They say 2,052 people have recovered and 723 people have died. So the number of people recovered is way more, actually, maybe like 1,300 more than the people who have died. But the problem is, yeah, you're right. There's no testimonies or anything about the virus or the people who recovered from the virus, so we don't know. We just keep getting these stupid ass updates and misinformation. This is why people are, I wouldn't say chaotic, but they're just confused and don't know what to do. And I mean, I would believe there's more than 900 dead. Like I said, China is one of those countries that heavily censors its information in the news that it publishes to the eye of the public. And because they don't want to lose face in front of the whole world, this is like one of those most deadliest sins that you can do to China or to Chinese people, is to make them lose face publicly, and they will condemn you and hate you for the rest of your life. And trust me, I know this because I've dealt with it personally. So that's a big no-no. So I would speculate that the death toll is way higher. It's probably up in the thousands. But like I said, is you never know because we just keep getting fed misinformation, and people don't know what to do. Majority of the Chinese people, they don't know what to do. So also, there was this doctor, for those of you who are coming in, okay, this is actually published on WeChat. So I'm pretty sure you guys heard about this also. His name is Dr. Li Wenliang. Dr. Li Wenliang. Okay. So in the morning of February 7th, announced that the hospital in Wuhan announced that Dr. Li Wenliang, 34, passed away at about 3 a.m. on February 7th due after falling fatally ill due to the coronavirus. So this man, on December 30th, he pretty much blew the whistle, went out to the public and tried to warn people on his WeChat group about this virus, and he was quickly silenced by the police and the officials in Wuhan for allegedly spreading rumors about the virus, which now we conclude that the fact is those were not rumors, but there were actual facts. So they pretty much silenced this guy. They made him sign a document, and all of this is, all the transcripts and everything is online. They made him sign this document, and he agreed that, he would not spread any more rumors or whatever, and pretty much he was silenced. Okay, so that was December 30th, almost a month before, the whole world found out about this outbreak. So, of course, Chinese officials, they knew what was going on, but they were trying to sweep it under the rug from the rest of the world before it escalated. But little did they know how fast this could escalate and cause even more problems. So the factual thing is that they lied to everybody in the world and tried to, I guess, sweep it under the rug and control it themselves. But at that time, it was pretty much out of control. So yeah, he warned the general public about this outbreak. He was not arrested, but he was kind of like reprimanded, and he was, like I said, he was forced to sign a piece of paper and say he will not sign this. And say he will not spread any more rumors. So that was that. Have you been hacked? Is this repeat? What you mean? Have I been hacked? No, I'm just saying for the people, for the folks that were not here when I was talking about this. Um, just to kind of reiterate. Okay, so like I said, pretty much they silenced the man, and then on February 7th, the man passed away, and the Chinese people just completely became outraged of the whole incident, and they started bashing the government, which is almost unheard of in China due to the nationalistic pride for the Chinese government. So most of the Chinese people here, they're very pro-government and they listen to everything that they're being told. It's almost like robotic in nature. And it's sad to say this and generalize, a whole, I wouldn't say community, a whole population of people, but it's almost true to a certain extent. I mean, I'm sure there's Chinese people who, if they want access to information, they will get it, but the rest of the public is pretty much blind to it. So they do what they told. They're very proud of China and of who they are, and there's nothing wrong with that. But The pride is to the point where they're being, it's like putting blinders. It's like blindfolding yourself, and you just going which way to tell you to go and say what they want you to say. And if you go against law and order, then you're automatically condemned. And like I said, they reprimand you, punish you, silence you, and send you off. So it's almost unheard of Chinese people to speak against the Chinese government. But the death of this man outraged everybody. I wouldn't say everybody, but majority of the people here in China, and they bashed and critiqued the Chinese government. But then once again, they were all silenced because the Chinese government, they've been doing this for years. So it's easy for them to shut everything down and silence its people so information could not spread. Um, for the same reason that they blocked Facebook and everything, because people were using Facebook to conduct or trying to start riots here in China. There was anti-government. So when they did have freedom to Facebook and access to all of that stuff, it was quickly shut down because people were organizing events to protest against certain rules and regulations. Where do you live in China, and when will you go away? Um, I live in the southern part of China, close to Hong Kong in Guangzhou. But even though that's, I wouldn't say too far from Wuhan, there's still a lot of shit that's going on. Like I said, everything is pretty much like shut down except for convenience stores and like supermarkets and small little shops. But pretty much what the people are forced to do here is to work online. And I want to go away. My plan was to go to Vietnam, but unfortunately I can't because Vietnam is no longer currently accepting people, both foreigners and nationals, um, due to the fact that they don't want this virus to spread in their own country, and they won't even risk it. Whether you have the virus or you don't have the virus, they don't want to risk it. Government is corrupt and oppresses its own people. Yeah, of course, especially here. Like I said, the people, it's crazy, man. I don't know, man or woman. I'm sorry, I don't know. But it's crazy. Like, one of the things that was trending on Chinese social media ever since the death of this doctor 2 days ago was the hashtag was "We want the freedom of speech," and that hashtag was trending and reached like what 2.5 million people before the Chinese government censored it and took everything down. And this was tweeted by China's prominent, one of China's most prominent people. He was like some kind of professor. I'm sorry, I don't know the full details, but as soon as that was tweeted and it reached an amount of people where the Chinese government was like, whoa, we didn't expect that. So when the hashtag "We want the freedom of speech" was trending, the Chinese government quickly took everything down, shut it down, and now you can't find that to save your life. You cannot find that. It's not a tweet. It was like a post on Weibo, and Weibo is kind of like WeChat, and WeChat is similar to Facebook. So it was something like that. So it was trending. I heard he wants to shoot. Okay, I didn't hear anything about that. That's news to me. Like I said, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of like misinformation. Um, and like I know people would doubt like my credibility, um, because I'm not a reliable source of media. But I just wanted to speak to the people, who are just willing to listen, because I have been here for about 6 years, and um, I'm kind of an introvert. Well, I guess I became an introvert, but I've dealt with a lot of Chinese people. Most of my friends are Chinese people, and some of them are also nationalistic, and but we set our differences aside. But now I see, I'm starting in the last year or so, I'm starting to see a bigger picture. Even if the truth, and that's not all, I don't want to generalize here, even if the truth is staring some Chinese people in the eyes, they will still deny it. And it's because that lying here is socially acceptable. I mean, of course, we all lie, you know, say bullshit from time to time, but even though it's unacceptable in our part of the world or in our society, we still do it. But here it's socially acceptable. So the people would rather prefer the lie over the truth any day because Chinese people are extremely sensitive, especially to the truth. What are they doing with the dead bodies? Oh my God, I have no idea. There's a lot of things like I don't know. For example, like you asked me about the testimonies of people who had the virus and then were treated or cured. There hasn't been any of that at all surfacing on social media. And like I said, it's due to the fact that um, the media here is heavily filtered. So we have to use VPN. And like I said, there's Chinese people who've been speaking out um, about this, and it was used through VPN, uploaded to YouTube through VPN. So, like I said, there's a lot of things like I can give you answers to, but there's also things I don't know because a lot of us, we are, like I said, especially here, we're being fed what they want to feed us. Um, we just have to, use our brain and try to dig outside of this box and find the information that we want to find. And like I said, that goes out for the Chinese folks here as well. Like I said, I believe that if a person wants access to information, they'll find the ways to get it. But the majority of people here, they don't care. They simply don't care. And I say that with conviction. All the media is corrupt. Yeah. And I say that because when this, like the first week, when everything's corrupt. Yeah. And I say that because when this, like the first week, when everything has happened, there were people that became extremely greedy and try to capitalize and profit from this whole virus outbreak. And what they do was, they would take masks like these. Okay, so people, not like these, but like surgical masks. Okay, they would throw them in a trash can. They would throw these masks in the trash can, and some Chinese people would go take these masks out of the trash cans and then resell them to the public. So that helped to get even more people infected. Okay, there was people who were infected with the virus who would go to your complex, your building, and they would spit and cough on the elevator buttons, and everything was on CCTV. You can, like I said, you can find all this stuff online. And I'm not trying to spread fear amongst the masses, but people literally did that. It was like, okay, I'm infected. I have the possibility to die. Then I would take some people with me. And that's, to me, that's fucking selfish. That's as selfish as you can get. Okay, there's people who were actually going to the hospitals, spitting on napkins and giving them to doctors. So I heard the virus started around March last year, 2019. Okay, I don't know if it's this far back, but then again, it's a possibility. But the earliest that we here know about it is when this doctor, Dr. Lee, reported everything on December 30th, and he tried to silence them. But like I said, on January 23rd, 24th is pretty much when the rest of the world found out about this whole epidemic. And like I said, you can dig around and search. Like I said, Wuhan does have this level 4 biohazard lab. Um, like I said, that deals with the most dangerous pathogens in this world. And I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're researching or whatever. So there's rumors and speculations about it leaking from there. But these people at the top, yeah. But there's people at the top that make all these rules and policies who are always immune to this shit, but it's the common people that build your economy, build your country up. Those are the people who ends up suffering, while the ones at the top make up all these bullshit and rules, and they never have to pay the price. And I try to have hope in humanity, but man, people are just like, in US, like, okay, I was adopted when I was 10 years old and I moved to US. And before I moved to US, I never seen shit like racism or whatever. I don't know, maybe because predominantly where I'm from, the people were white, and I never actually seen people who are racist against their own race, but then there are people like this who exist. But anyway, so I moved to US when I was 10 years old. And then I was around predominantly a black neighborhood and went to a school that was black. And I was like, man, why are these white kids sitting with the white kids, black kids sitting with the black kids, and, Asians with the Asians? Is like everybody was segregated. Okay, so I started to learn when I started living in US. But anyway, so in US now, people are fighting each other over the outcome of the next presidential election. In China, the people are fighting this fucking coronavirus, but we can't get anything accomplished because in the midst of all this shit that's going on, we keep fighting against each other. So how is there going to be a resolution and a way to try to fix something if we're constantly butting heads with each other? Yeah, don't hope. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the religious aspect because my adopted family, they were pretty religious, but I see how they acted outside of church and in church. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I think it's about having your own personal relationship in whoever or in whatever you believe in. Um, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Is like I don't believe this world is bad or we having all these epidemics or pandemics happen. Um, it's like everybody's like bashing with each other. Everything is intertwined into one ball, and like I said, we were only a few days into the next decade, or shouldn't say not even less than 2 weeks into the new decade. In the first month, we had Australia burning down. We have this whole political mess going on with, I don't know, whatever, Trump, and this whole case with Epstein. Then we had this coronavirus, and whether you admired him or whatever, Kobe died. And so I'm like, holy shit, like We're not even a month out. We were barely a month out. Yeah, the one person done. Seriously, I don't know. There was some information that was shown. I forgot actually where I read this, but there was like some kind of medication. I'm not sure exactly what it was called, but it was publicized by the Russians, right? That it can cure, not cure. I don't know. I don't know exactly if it was to cure, but maybe like contain it or something like that. Um, but the Chinese health organization, whatever, disapproved of it, and then later they say, "Hey, this very same thing could help you." So, like I said, man, this is like the people here is going. I wouldn't say going nuts, but they just don't know what to do. Like these masks and everything is like sold out, and not that it would help. These really don't help. You need like one of these World War II masks with a filtration canister to not possibly not contract it, and then you can get it on you, come home, and there's no way to decontaminate yourself if you got it, so you still can get it. It's like it's pretty much like a state of luck. Like I said, I showed you the map, Michael Williams. So they aren't giving you any info over there. Yeah, man, they're not giving us. There's nothing, man. The people are just like left. They just keep on giving us these updates and reports as to how many people have died, how many people are infected, how many people are suspected to be infected, and how many people have been cured. And other than that, that's it. Even for the people in Hubei, or the province where Wuhan is, they're pretty much barred them in their own houses, can't go out. The gas stations and everything is closed down. They can't get from here to there. And like I said, there's a video of this Chinese guy from Wuhan. You can find it. It has like 3.2 million views. Uh, and the name of the video is, you can just type the keywords like whistleblower from Wuhan, and I forgot how long the video is, maybe like 10 or so minutes. And he just pretty much tells everybody like, hey man, they closed everything down. The people don't have access to medication. There's no more masks. um, the gas stations are closed down. So even if they do contract the virus, they can't go to the hospital. And even if they go to the hospital, there's not enough room for people. That's why now China is trying to build this like quarantine hospital, like on the go. That's supposed to like accommodate tens of thousands of people. So if you do the math, then the number of people who actually have the virus by uh, hospital to quarantine the patients who have the virus. And like I said, it is supposed to accommodate tens and thousands of people. So if that's the case, then there's definitely more people who are infected with the virus than we're being told. And it's crazy. Like I just got an update, the map that I showed you that shows me the people who are infected with the virus around me. It just literally just updated. And like I said, you see these red dots, like I'm the blue one. And all these red dots are the people that are infected with the virus, that are pretty much living pretty close to me. The latest one is 519 meters. That shit's crazy. What the hell, onion? Same in the US. What have you seen outside so far? Are you worried about the police military aspect of things, or the sorts of propaganda the CCP is putting out about the fight? I mean, I just honestly, Micah, that's crazy. Like one of my friends in the army's name was Micah. He was a cool guy. But it just like to me, there's like I don't think they're doing anything, man. Like I said, and that's just like me going down. This is just like me going down the conspiracy rabbit hole. But there's so much people now in China, even though them being a communist country or whatever you want to call it. Actually, it's not even communist. It's like in a genre of its own when it comes to labeling a country or how it functions politically or whatever. But uh, shit, what would damn? I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I was just eating this. I was just reading this eat raw onion comment. I mean, that's like something new to me. I doubt this is going to do anything. Now, people have to go to the market and get groceries and just daily things. But as far as going to work, almost every single company here is shut down, and I wouldn't say forced, but people are being told that we should work online. And of course, with certain jobs, that's what is that? But of course, with certain type of jobs, that's impossible. So you can't do that. So the whole economy here also is on the brink of like collapse because for those of you who might know, China was already in this bubble or whatever. CNN and all these bullshit news were speculating or were making these hypotheticals about it bursting, but maybe it has something to do with that as well. Um, so, like I said, so we were being told that we should work online and try to not go out and socialize with the general public. Of course, like I don't think anyone is stupid enough to do that. Like, but then again, I heard kids playing outside the other day. But like I said, I live in a big residential. It's the biggest residential area in Guangzhou, and it's fenced off. And even if we try to order food, they won't let anybody in here. If you want to order some food or whatever, you have to meet them outside the gate. So you're technically you can go out, but you're advised not to do so. Oh, the germs are from sickness. I mean, I don't have any sickness. Like I'm good, but I never heard this. This sounds like some, like a remedy from I don't know, the medieval times. I mean, I'm sure there's vegetables and fruits or whatever. I do believe garlic that has certain amount of certain healing properties. And actually, I had a cold not too long ago, and I just drank some tea with some ginger, and then the next day, boom, I was good. Are they spraying the disinfectant there as well? Not in Guangzhou. Oh, actually, as a matter of fact, wait a minute. I take that back. Yesterday, I was sitting and doing some work on the computer, and I seen one of these trucks riding by, and they were spraying shit everywhere. But like I said, oh yeah, okay, back. I found my train of thought. So what I was saying is China is so heavily overpopulated. Some people are saying, like I said, this is like a hypothetical or just a speculation or whatever, that this is like some the population control or whatever. And like I said, this is the conspiracy factor of it. But then again, it makes sense because there's so many people here, and even though China being whatever it is politically, there's absolutely zero social order at all here. Have you said anything about the long-term health effects of that spray? I seen video people dropping dead on the street. Yeah, Have they said anything about the long-term health effects of that spray? Like I said, I haven't heard anything, and frankly, I don't know what the hell they're spraying. Um, it's supposed to be some kind of like a, I don't know if it's like bleach or whatever. Like the other day, I went to the market to buy some food, and people like threw bleach and shit everywhere. So yeah, man, me too. The last few days, there are very few videos coming out. Yeah, like I said, because everything is being censored here. Like I said, Chinese people are like starting to figure out that if they use VPN, they're able to get access to information that they typically won't be able to get here in China. Um, yeah, but see, here's the thing, man. Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, okay, but just like hear me out. Just hear me out, okay? Last night I was watching a movie, okay? It's a shit. It was a movie with Will Smith. It's called I Am Legend. So in the beginning of the movie I Am Legend, there was some kind of interview with a woman that supposedly found a cure for cancer, okay? And they treated like 10,000 something patients, and in the movie there's also another movie called Contagion or whatever. So in this movie I Am Legend, uh, there was over 10,000 people who were implanted with a virus that supposedly killed cancer. But the crazy thing is, this very well can happen, and this is factual evidence. When the virus was inside of them, it mutated and caused the whole fucking, like I said, if you've seen the movie, you know what happened. Okay? And it's crazy how Hollywood or whatever has this kind of like predictive programming, right? And they show this in a movie like 10 years, 20 years prior to everything happening, and then 20 years, 10 years, 5 years later, the very well same shit that happens. And the crazy thing is, John Hopkins University, and like I said, you can also research that John Hopkins University, I believe it's in Maryland, they conducted a simulation, okay, which was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill Gates, for those of you who don't know, they conducted a simulation 3 months prior to the coronavirus outbreak on a fucking coronavirus that in the simulation estimated that 65 million people would die. Now tell me, with all this relative information, how can everything now be a coincidence? Let me read this. Maybe enter right. I just don't understand why they need to censor unless something crazy was happening behind the scenes. This is my whole pretty much concept, is what we're being told is not actually what happened, and what happened is way bigger than the general public knows. Hollywood is, I don't know how people can't see past the bullshit. Sometimes it's fishy. Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy that it took the WHO, and for those of you who don't know, the World Health Organization, the second time to officially declare this is a nationwide pandemic. And to me, that's fucking baffling, because they said there's not enough cases internationally for this to be a pandemic. You know what I mean? So it's like what the fuck? Like, did they want for there to be cases internationally outside of China to officially declare this a pandemic? So it took them 2 times, and the second time it was like, oh, okay, now there are people that are being affected and infected, whatever, with this internationally in South Korea, Thailand, US, France. And it took them all this shit to officially declare this a pandemic. A virus in 1918 killed, was that, 1 million people? Yeah, I mean, they reckon they got it controlled. So this is what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, uh, imagine if this did get to Africa, where they don't have uh, their sources of medical, um, what's the word I'm looking for? If they don't have access to the type of medical staff and equipment or whatever that, most countries in the West, or economically stable countries in the East or whatever have. So think about, like, if it got there, how worse it could have probably been. Yeah, resources. Yeah. So think about how worse it could have probably been. Okay, but now it happened to the Chinese people, and the Chinese people are running around social media, some of them, and saying, "Oh, we're being discriminated against." Okay, one, and that they're saying that people are picking on them because they're a minority. How the fuck do you be a minority with 1.6 billion, 1.7 billion people in your country? You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's a quote, and I love this quote, and I don't know why it's still stuck in my head, but the quote goes like this, okay? It's easier to brainwash a person than to convince a person that they're brainwashed, okay? And are you sure you are in China? Well, how do you want me to prove it? How do you want me to prove this? I live in Texas and have seen discrimination firsthand just in the last few days. Are you? Oh, you mean like against the Chinese people, right? Yeah, I mean, I had a. Are you living in China or not? I mean, how do you want me to prove that I'm living in China? I'm in Guangzhou, China now, Guangdong, one of the biggest cities here in China. People stepping away from anyone who looks Asian. Yeah, I seen that. Like, I had a friend of mine that was living in Canada. He's Chinese, but he has a Canadian citizenship. But he went to vacation with his friends in Vietnam, and everything was okay before all this like broke out. And then days later, they won't let him book a room in a hotel because he was Chinese. But he was there like 30 days before everything happened. So he was forced to go to Japan because the Japanese, they're accepting people of all nationalities. You aren't in China. How the fuck do you want me to prove that I'm in China? I mean, literally, all my notifications and everything on my phone is in Chinese. It's dark outside right now, but I could just show you the street signs, you know. But yeah, like I said, like I keep getting updates on my WeChat. Uh, okay, like I said, these red dots right here, I'm the blue one, and the red dots are the people that are infected with the virus around me, and it's just like it keeps on going up, going up, going up, going up. It's just crazy. I can wear a mask. I can wear a mask too and make a video and pretend to be in China. But you still didn't answer my question. Is like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and argue, but how do you want me to prove to you that I am in China? People here have to legit come. It's very difficult to find. I mean, like, I can prove to you that I'm in China, but I'm just trying to figure out, like, how do you want for me to prove to you that I'm in China? I mean, I'm drinking Chinese milk tea. Uh, my phone is in Chinese. I just went and shopped and bought food at the Chinese supermarket. Like, how do you want me to prove that I'm in China? What do you want me to show you? That's what I'm asking. Like, what do you want me to show you? Stay inside four walls until the virus is over. And I believe in you. I mean, excuse me, blueberry pie. Like, please, like, I'm not trying to argue with people. Like, really, I'm just trying to, you know, sh- show people, or not show people, but tell people about everything that's going on here and pretty much things from my point of view. Like I said, I've been living here for like 6 years. I lived 2 years in Shenzhen, 2 years in Foshan, and now 2 years in Guangzhou. And prior to that, I was in the U.S. Army and I lived in Korea for about 7 years. So I mean, I've been around and I like it. I like China, but now, like, with everything going on and people are kind of chaotic and nobody knows what to do. I kind of want to leave, but now they're not letting us go. And I want to go to a country that's relatively cheap, like Vietnam. I was there last year for Chinese New Year's, um, and it's fairly cheap, the cost of living. And I want to go there, but now Vietnam is not accepting any people from China, uh, foreigner or national. The Chinese government is hiding. Oh, this is the crazy thing. When this whole thing happened, a lot of the government officials, they retreated to an island in Qinghai to discuss how to deal uh, with this matter. But a lot of people, like I said, they speculated that they just left there because they don't want to be around it. So, man, like I said, this shit is crazy. From, yeah, exactly. They just ran away. And like I said, it's the common people that are always suffering, the people that build up your country. Like I see, man, the Chinese people, I can't lie, I can't deny, they work hard. There's literally people here working till fucking midnight, building buildings and all kinds of shit. And 6 o'clock in the morning, you wake up, people drilling. So they're constantly working, but the same people who help build the economy are constantly being shit on, especially by the Chinese government. And when they want to speak out, they are automatically ridiculed, punished, reprimanded, whatever you want to say. Um, Please make these live videos every day while you can. Awesome content. Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. It's like these very same people that build your country are the ones who are forced to suffer, while these one percenters, or whatever you want to call them, sit at the top. And they just ride the back of the common working person. How did the coronavirus happen? And this is the thing, man. Like I've talked about this before, you entered the chat, but some people say that it was spread from um, the illegal trade of wildlife in one of the Chinese like wet markets or the seafood markets, whatever you want to call it. And there's also speculations of it actually leaking from a biohazard lab, which actually is in Wuhan, where the virus broke out. And it's a level 4 biohazard lab. And what that lab specializes in is researching information or whatever about some of the most deadliest pathogens in this fucking world. Uh, oh yeah, it's definitely man-made. They splice the gene, right? They splice the gene to look at it, and there is no way this type of virus is, came about from nature or whatever. There's no way. Like I said, if you know like a little bit of information or stuff like that, you can easily put it together. But the thing is though, is like the general public is being lied to so blatantly, and they know, but the common person in China is afraid of speaking out against the government because they will get prosecuted. Even myself, like, everything is monitored easily. Tonight, somebody can come knocking on my door and boom, I'm gone. But I just want to show people, not show people, why I keep saying show people. I just want to let people know what's going on through my perspective and through the information that I have gathered. Okay, and like I said, we can speculate, we can make hypotheses and go down, like I said, the whole conspiracy thing. And speaking of the conspiracy thing, there's so much plausible information that it no longer looks what they would understand, like what it's like to suffer also. Because, I mean, people in general, you know. But from what Micah said, I believe that was you, right? When they splice the gene of this coronavirus, um, there's no way the manufactured. So hold on, let me check my WeChat real quick. Like I said, because we're constantly getting updates about this virus, but like I said, I don't know the accuracy of this information, or it could be very well be misinformation. But like I said, you can even look up now, China way more than what we're being told. I mean that makes sense. That makes sense. When enough people are cured, the government will find a cure. When enough people are dead, sorry, then the government will find a cure. I mean, like I said, from what I'm seeing, the the cure rate, the rate of people that actually have been cured exceeds the amount of people that have died. But then again, like I said, we never know, because a lot of people, reporters or whatever, independent journalists, they all, like I said, I use this word a lot, but they all speculate the fact that the number of people infected, or the number of people that have died from this virus, is maybe 2 times or at least 3 times more than the numbers that are being released to the people, to the people. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I said, if you guys have any questions, like I said, feel free to ask. um like I said, why are many cities in China in fire? What you mean in fire? Why are many cities in China on fire? You mean on fire? I don't think there's any cities that are on fire unless people are like rioting or looting. But I haven't seen any of this going on, and I'm sure that honestly, I haven't seen those videos. Like I said, unless people are fighting and amongst themselves and are looting. Really, I haven't seen that. See, this is what I'm saying. Um, to get my sources of information, I have to use VPN. Okay, because none of this will be shown uh, on the media that we receive here. The other day, when this doctor passed away, the one who warned people about the virus, I wrote I wrote a comment because on the articles you can write comments, and I posted a comment, and I wrote it both in English and in Chinese. But the whole post and everything was deleted like shortly after, and none of our comments or anything was able to go through. So this is what I'm saying: it's this heavy censorship, because even before any of the foreign media outlets publish any information to the public, they have to get filtered and censored by, the Chinese officials who are responsible for the content that goes out to the public. So, like I said, it's very well, it's not even an assumption anymore, but it's just factual that, they just deleted everything. And when people ask questions, they don't like any of that. Oh man, I go and get food maybe about every 2 or 3 days. There's literally like a little market right inside of our complex, and you can buy like, like basic stuff, bread and meat, chicken, whatever. So it's all accessible. But like I said, the problem now is, hold on, excuse me. They had That's crazy. But see, this is the thing. They control all the media and everything. So even if you speak something that's factual, or something factual that's coming live, or being recorded from a person in Wuhan and shows people what's going on, they can label that as misinformation. Then it's automatically blocked from the public, when in fact that the information that's being shared could possibly be factual information. So this is the thing that I don't like. And like Chinese people are starting to realize that. That's what I was saying. Like on a Chinese social media website, Weibo, there was a hashtag that was trending a few days ago that says we want the freedom of speech, and it reached around 2.5 million, maybe 3 million people before the Chinese censorship and the Chinese officials, CCP, whatever you want to call them. Before it was like, oh shit, this is reaching upwards to 3 million people, and they just completely deleted everything. So everything just went away. And also on TikTok in China, here it's called Douyin. Okay, there were people that were protesting against the Chinese government due to the way that they handled the death of this doctor who blew the whistle a month prior to the whole outbreak happening. And the Chinese party also blocked, censored, and deleted everything that was coming out. So they just making their people quiet, because this is what I'm saying. In this country, losing their face is one of the things that they value the most. Like embarrassing a Chinese person is pretty much like a crime. Of course, you're not gonna go to jail for it, But if you embarrass the Chinese government, you can very easily go to jail. There's no questions. They will come grab your ass. In some cases, like they did to this doctor, they'll make you sign a piece of paper and stamp it with your thumbprint that says that pretty much banishes you from spreading misinformation, which could actually be information, just like they did to him when they said that what he said was a rumor, when in fact it was facts. So this is the crazy thing. They will silence you very quick, and this is what I'm saying. Even for me, and I hate to point the finger at myself now, but I'm pretty sure I don't know the whole algorithm of the internet or computers or whatever, but I'm sure there are certain words that are sensitive or keywords that are sensitive. So, like I said, tonight they can come knocking on my house and fucking snatch me up because it happens a lot. They did this to some Canadian guy before because they thought he was like some spy. I don't know if you guys remember this on the news or whatever. I think he was from Canada. So it's very easy for them to come here and grab somebody, especially a foreigner. They would love to grab a foreigner, you know, um, and there's nothing you can do about it. They will grab you up and they won't notify your embassy or anything, and you just stuck somewhere in some Chinese political prison or whatever, and nobody knows where you are. And then boom, you're gone. I think so too. They delete a lot of very grim videos from the first week. I saw dozens of people dying on the streets in the hospital, officials collecting corpses and rounding up. Yeah, it's like actually I've seen that. I've seen that, but like I said, everything was deleted and removed very quickly. Nurses and doctors talking real numbers and dates. Men aggressively wrestling women to the ground for not having a mask, even though I'm sure they are hard to find. Oh yeah, there's no masks whatsoever anywhere. If they do, at least you would be safe in jail away from the virus. Or they'll fucking inject my ass with the virus. Like I said, like it can very well happen. I mean, governments, um, they're known to do some really shady shit. And like I said, you will never know. You just disappear in the night. Infections spread in jail even quicker. Yeah, exactly. And I doubt anybody would want to go to jail in China. Um, so yeah, actually, I won't go in the whole jail thing, but I had an incident when I lived in Korea. But like I said, I don't really want to go into that. But yeah, just to say, like, I can't imagine what prison is like in China, where outside of prison, the disregard for human life is almost zero to none. Because if somebody is hurt or dying or whatever, the Chinese people, they're pretty much programmed not to go and help the person, but in fact, they will pull out their phone, take a video, post it on social media, and share it with their friends and laugh about it. So if there's already this type of disregard in the general public from Chinese people to Chinese people, imagine the disregard for human life in a Chinese prison. Yeah. But the thing is, the reason that they do this, and I'm not defending this because I think it's fucking sad, but the reason that they do this is if they try to go help somebody and they end up hurting the person in the process, then they will get sued by the family of the victim and will have to pay money to that family for the rest of their life. So that's why they don't get involved. Yeah, my Facebook was shut down, but I made a new one, but it won't let me stream about this. It won't let me live stream about this on Facebook. I tried many times, and it just, I don't know. When I did, like, because I play some game, I played like video games sometimes, and when I did that, everything was okay. But when I started talking about this, it's just they won't let me do this, and I had to try to do this on YouTube a few times also. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sucks. I wish I could reach more people, but I know a lot of people. I don't know what time is it now in US, but I'd imagine a lot of people might be waking up now, or depends on your time zone. Um, but yeah, and I mean, maybe the question is like, am I Facebook is working with the Chinese government? Well, you guys are early, but I mean, yeah, I've thought about, because I was very vocal on WeChat, and like I said, pretty much every single Chinese citizen here uses WeChat. So I was pretty vocal about this whole thing on WeChat, um, and now I'm doing it live. And am I afraid of maybe something happening? I mean, in a way, yeah, I guess, because I do enjoy the the limitations of the freedom that I do have, but I also personally know what it's like to lose that, because I did go through it when I was living in Korea, and the experience is definitely not pleasurable, because once you're down that hole, um, everyone pretty much forgets about you, and you're left to fend for yourself. And like I said, I speak on this from personal experience, and I know what it's like. So, but I'm just like concerned about, the thing that gets me angry or passionate about this is the fact that, innocent people are forced to suffer for the mistakes of the people who don't give a fuck about them. You know what I mean? It's like you have one shithead in your group. Let's say you have not even a group, but let's say, for example, you're in an army, and in your platoon or whatever, you have a person that's very high up, but he's the one who always fucks up, and he doesn't get reprimanded for his fuck ups because he's the top echelon, but everybody else gets punished for the stupid actions that he does. And this is how I feel the people of this world who actually, trying to do something with themselves. Like, we're not all of us are pure. None of us are pure, of course. But it's crazy though. Yeah. I mean, look what happened to a fellow Australian, Julian Assange, the founder and the creator of WikiLeaks. The founder and the creator of WikiLeaks. I think he did a magnificent thing for the people, for people that had information and want to expose corruption. They were able to blow the whistle on WikiLeaks, but now this man is being prosecuted, and and it's this is the baffling thing. Now this man is like in a UK prison. I don't know if you guys know who Julian Assange is. Like I said, he's the guy who made and created WikiLeaks. Um, So he's in jail, and the U.S. is trying to extradite him to U.S. and charge him with the Espionage Act. How do you charge a foreign national with the Espionage Act is beyond is beyond like my comprehension. So this is one of those people that I look up to, and when I found out about it, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And the same thing for Edward Snowden. Yeah, man, they're trying to actually extradite him to America and charge him with the Espionage Act. But like, this is the whole thing that's confusing to me is how do you charge a foreign national with the Espionage Act? This is like, this is really like, I don't understand that at all. This is almost like sounds is beyond stupidity to me. So this is where I can't figure stuff out like this. Like the world works in some ways that's beyond my comprehension. And like I said, it's like the people that we place in charge at the top, whether we know it or don't know it, and they're the ones who end up being the rule makers. But it's acceptable in their community to break rules, and they always get away with it. But the second that we break the rules that they created, we get prosecuted for it, life in jail, throw away the key, and the whole world forget about you. Even and this goes out with everybody. All the people, even the famous whistleblowers who risk their life to give the general public some information and show them that the government is corrupt or doing some bullshit that's affecting, your society or whatever, the masses of people. Those people who share this information, they're always being condemned, ridiculed, pretty much thrown outside of society. This is the crazy thing. I mean, I don't know if he's dead. I mean, I've been reading up on him um, for quite a while now. From what I know, he's still in prison in UK. I guess UK was holding him. Uh, and like I said, I guess the US's plan is to try to extradite him to America and then charge him under some crazy shit that they can only charge the US citizen with. So like I said, it's beyond baffling to me how they can charge a person under the Espionage Act that's not even a citizen of America. That's crazy, really. Oh man. But like I said, I know I don't have a lot of viewership, and it's not to benefit me, but I wish there was more people listening because I honestly think, like, I'm not trying to sound arrogant or cocky. I honestly think I know what I'm talking about because I lived through this. I'm here, and I just wish that more people find something like this interesting instead of focusing on the bullshit that's going on. You know, the people don't realize that, you know, as a nation of people, that we definitely outnumber, those people at the top. But the problem is they have us fighting each other, so we can't come to amends with each other to fight them. So how can we come together while we're already fighting each other to try to fight them? And this is constantly something that's always going on. uh, this is what I'm saying. As long as we are at war with each other, we can't tackle the bigger issue. And this is, this is like almost what they want. Or barred in quarantine. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, like the people who've spoken out, they've already been arrested, and like you said, they've been shoved into vans. I mean, they're literally were snatching people off the street. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up. Like I said, the internet, like around this time, for the past 2 weeks, the internet in China is just like in the morning is super fast, in the afternoon it's decent, but around this time, like everything is like slows down. It's crazy. It's like it's barely working. Like I'm trying to load. Where is this guy? Oh my God, don't tell me they removed the video. What? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. I really can't believe they removed the video. Hold on, let me look at my history. Oh, it's still here. Wow. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, then let me go back here. It's a tactic the government uses to control people. Yeah, it is. So here's a link. I don't know, maybe some of you guys have seen this already, but it's a man from Wuhan, and he's pretty much speaking out against the Chinese government. And I found this kind of interesting. Like, I remember when I first seen this video, it has like 300 views, but now it has like 3.2 million views. And ever since he made this video, there hasn't been a single word from him again. I mean, it's okay. I honestly, I don't mind, as long as I try to speak about what I believe in, then whatever happens, just happens. I'm not scared of something that's supposed to happen. I believe we have some predestined things that are supposed to happen in our life. And if this is the way it's meant to happen, then this is the way that it's meant to happen. And yeah, but this was the video that I was talking about. And a lot of people, like, I don't know, like sometimes I try not to read the comments because how things get on social media. And this is another one of those platforms that I like and I dislike at the same time. How can I put this? But now it's given, the reason that I like it is because when certain things like this happen, you can catch something if you're early. Because like I said, information these days spread, faster than a wildfire. Or however you want to make this analogy or whatever. Okay, so if you can get it fast, you will get it. But if it's something that will affect the people at the top, they will try to take it down as quickly as possible. I mean, for example, like I know we're talking about a whole other thing, but look what happened to what's his name, Epstein. You know, the pedophile guy that had, you know, politicians sleeping with underage girls. It's a coincidence that when he supposedly killed himself, which I also don't believe, all the cameras were not working in his room, the guards were not there. Like, how many times are they going to do this shit? When Princess Diana died in the tunnel, 14 cameras were not working. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, they're just running out of lies to tell people, you know. But the thing that's even more sad is that people are choosing not to do anything about it. A year later, most people will forget about this shit, move on, and it will never be spoken out about. Okay, yeah, the past is in the past, but the past can also very well affect the future if you don't learn from your mistakes. And that, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is just the purest form of ignorance, because even though we know we're going to die, a lot of people that are living think that they're invincible. And to a certain extent, like I said, some of the people at the top, they very well believe that. And I'm not quoting them, but I'm almost certain this is how they feel until one of them does get caught up. And one of the two things can happen. Yeah, this is, like I said, you know, this is like pretty much my uh, train of thought and my perspectives on how I see, you know, things that are going on in this world right now. And fuck. As I keep looking at this picture of this man, and I'm talking about the doctor that excuse me, I don't know why it's not loading, but as I look at this picture of this doctor, fuck, what's going on here? Okay, here it is. I finally pull it up. As I look at this picture of this doctor, shit. There's usually nobody in my building. All the Chinese people that live here, they're gone. They're still gone in their hometowns. Anyway, as I look at this picture of this doctor, let's say Li Wenliang, okay, I don't know, like, this photo kind of like brings like some tears to my eyes. Okay, and this article was published by Li Yuan, and actually she posted a lot of things on her Twitter about the events that happened prior to the outbreak. And I'm looking at a picture of this man, and there's like something in this man's eyes, man. There's something in this man's eyes that just shows like what he was talking about the doctor that passed away from uh, allegedly spreading rumors about the coronavirus on December 30th, pretty much almost a month before, like I said, the news was released to the public. And everything that's written in this article is true because before, fuck. Okay, so what I was saying is everything that was published on this article is true. And I say that I don't know how credible the New York Times is, but because everything that's written in that article was also being spread around here in China before everything was deleted by, like I said, the Chinese government. Um, so if they're trying to hide something, of course, it has to have some truth to it. Mm, lies that they're trying to cover up. But I don't know. I keep coming back and I keep looking at this picture with him hooked up to this oxygen mask. And I don't know, man. It's crazy, man. It's almost like tear provoking, like tear jerking. Okay, and there's another picture. It's like a an illustration of him. It was spread all over Weibo, and it's a social media platform like Facebook. Okay, and it's pretty much with him with the mask on, but razor wire on the mask, and it just is a statement of how the Chinese government was trying to silence him for speaking out. Yeah, and it's like that's what I'm saying. This stuff like this is a tragedy. You know, when someone does something because he or she cares about the well-being of people, but the people at the top disregard that because it doesn't go with their agenda, then they automatically discredit that person, label them as crazy, and humiliate them or try to humiliate them in front of the whole world and shame them. And, you know, stuff like this happen. I'll catch you, Alex. Good luck, my friend. Okay, you take care. That is 100% true. A nurse said that they released the news on his death, and once officials realized the media outpour was so intense, they ordered him to be put on life support and announced he was in critical condition. Man, they killed this guy. And this is like the Chinese people, they know this, man. Like they know. And what I'm happy about in the midst of all of this is like, you know, there's a saying, the hand is quicker than the eyes. So the Chinese people's actions were faster than the CCP was able to detect it at that time. So that caused a credible amount of information to leak before they figured out how to silence everybody once again. You know, but at that time it was too late. Yeah, like you said, by that time it was already too late. It just leaked all over the place. So in this instance, the hand being quicker than the eye of the Chinese government, you know, it. But the crazy thing is, man, there's still the majority of the population of the people here, they're still refusing to do anything about it. They just, you can say, and I kind of understand it because, like this guy in this video, he says, all we are is just flesh and blood, but the Chinese ruling party has full metal jackets and tanks. So, how can we fight full metal jackets and tanks only with our flesh and blood? Because they don't have the right to bear arms here. And I imagine if they did, things would be completely out of control. But yeah, man, yeah. I would try to figure something out. This is my mission. I've talked to some friends of mine that are currently in like Ho Chi Minh. But honestly, like I'm kind of afraid to move, man, because like I said, they can just snatch you up. Because like I said, everything that we talk about on here is already filtered and recorded, and I don't know how this, like I said, this whole algorithm goes. I guess you have to say the right type of words, and I don't know if their system gets triggered or whatever. So, I mean, this is my worst hypothetical, is that if I try to go to the airport, they'll just snatch my ass up because, like I said, they watch everything, you know. So I'm just trying to think like what I can do. Um, Luckily for my case, none of my friends know where I live. They just know Guangzhou. Okay, Guangzhou is relatively a big place. But then again, I already gave key information in this video as to where I live. Um, for those people who live here, they can easily figure out um, where it is. But anyway, this is besides the point. It's not about me. I'm just trying to let people know what's up and what's going on. But anyway, you guys, like, really, I hope you take care. And I'm gonna leave this stream on my channel. Like I said, I don't really use YouTube, but I'm gonna leave this stream on my channel. So if you could be so kind, just share it on your social media platforms if it allows you to do so. Like, this is the only